Hey guys, it's Oliver. I hope you're having a great day. I want to make this quick video just to talk about the meetup group that I've started called the Integrated Self. So some people might be wondering if you know that the meetup is happening, or if you saw that I've been posting about it, you might be wondering, what is the Integrated Self? What does that even mean? What are you going to be talking about? What kind of event is it? Why should I be coming out there? So I want to make this quick video just to kind of explain what it is, where the idea came from, and what we're trying to accomplish with our meetings. So first, the integrated self. Let's kind of go backwards and look at what is disintegrated. When we're looking at a person, let's say that someone who is disintegrated, who is not in integrity, who is not integrated, we're looking at someone who maybe their attention is in multiple different places. They got their time, their intellect, and energy dispersed in so many different directions. They are probably just in the hamster wheel of life, just going and going and going, checking the boxes of what it means to have a good life. Like, go to school, get good grades, get a job, get married, and then you'll be happy. And then a lot of people will find that they are not actually happy, that they're not satisfied with the direction that their life has taken, and there's essentially something missing. And disintegrate is also the idea that if you are achieving success in one area, be it business or finances, perhaps there is a cost, or there's just no attention or no investment on the family side, on the personal side, on the physical well-being side, on the mental peace and clarity side. So what the idea of the integrated self is somebody who operates from a place of integrity. Not necessarily looking for perfection, because I don't believe that's possible to be perfect. It's more of, this is an aim, this is a direction that we were aiming for, not necessarily trying to reach a specific destination. So it means the integrated self means looking at your finances, looking at your business, looking at your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, your physical well-being, your mental well-being. Are you educating yourself? Are you spending time in nature? And you know what? It's hard for me to define what it is for you, because for every single person out there, there's going to be a whole slew of things that is going to make them happy, going to make them satisfied and fulfilled and excited about their life. So I want to share some of the ideas that I have, and of course the meetup and the direction that we take is going to evolve as we go and as we grow, and more people start to hear about it. We have awesome special guests coming in discussing a variety of different topics, from life coaches, strength and conditioning coaches, authors, investors, entrepreneurs, martial artists, fighters, professional fighters, you name it. We're going to have some really cool people sharing some of their stories, some of their processes, and we're going to have the opportunity to ask them questions about what worked for them. How did they find a little bit more balance in their life? How do they find a little bit more excitement and more fulfillment in their life by trying to look at these principles of being more whole as a person? So the first thing that I'd say is integrity is the underlying foundation for your vision. Integrity means following through on your word. It's following through on your promises. It's like that person, if they're going to arrive late, they call you ahead of time and say, hey, listen, I'm going to be late. Or the person who breaks their promise or doesn't fulfill something that they said that they would do, owns up to it and says, listen, I'm totally responsible, I'm totally accountable for not doing what I said I was going to do. And I think there's a huge lack of integrity in society as a whole. I mean, we've had these promises fed to us by media on what's going to make us happy, what's going to have us have a good life and enjoy our life, and a lot of us, succumb to it, and it's enjoyable and it's great for the short term, but it doesn't necessarily last. And also, as we grow up, we have our teachers, we have our parents, we have the government, we have so many different, external factors that influence what integrity actually is. They say that this is what we're going to do. Let's say a politician, this is what I'm going to fix, these are my promises, and essentially they lie through their teeth, and we wonder why nothing is changing. So integrity, I think, is something that's really missing, and there are very noble few, and that noble few continues to grow in terms of people who are following through on that old idea of word is bond. My word is higher than anything. I will do what I say. And I think in one way, when we make promises to other people, our level of integrity and accountability is definitely elevated. But what about the promises to ourselves? That goal to lose 15 pounds, to stop smoking, to go back to the gym, to develop a better relationship with your partner. These are promises that we make to ourselves, and usually those are the ones that are easiest to break. And then we wonder why our external world is in such chaos and disarray. So integrity, when we live from a place of integrity, when we own up to our mistakes, when we are accountable for our job, for our role as a service provider, as a parent, as what have you, we live in a place of harmony. We find alignment, and we discover our truth. And I think that place of alignment, that place that comes from the wholeness that we experience, that we feel, because it does fill us up to know that the conversations that needed to be had were had. No matter how awkward, no matter how difficult, no matter how uncomfortable the scenarios were, we did something about making sure that we are in integrity, that we can sleep at night, that we are actually producing something good in the world, and that we can look at ourselves in the mirror and not look back with regret for the things that we've done. And then on the other side, I'd share is that here is definitely the cost. It's easy for me to say, live with integrity, and people might not necessarily know what that exactly means. But when you're living in integrity, like I said, you're going to have difficult conversations. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's not the norm, and you definitely have to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to be vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, you're super exposed. Usually we have our masks, we have our guard up, we have our hearts protected, and we don't want to get hurt. We don't want to get rejected. We want people to like us, in terms of, being loved growing up, making friends in school, being liked in the workplace by our customers. And sometimes when we are living our truth, when we are being who we naturally are at the core of our being, it's going to cause a little bit of discomfort in terms of people might reject it. Some people are not going to like what you have to say or the things that you're going to do, or they might even disagree with what you're trying to do. You might be pursuing a new venture, pursuing a new body, or whatever it is, trying to improve and just make things better in your life and around you. And there's going to be people who are going to try and tear you down and bring you down. So there's definitely that cost. And I think the personal growth of that entire industry kind of doesn't talk about what the level of vulnerability and the risk that you actually take when you are living your truth, when you are being who you're naturally, who you're meant to be, which is the true you, the real you, the authentic you. And sometimes that means stopping certain relationships, stopping habits, cutting them, pausing them, putting a bullet in the head of whatever negative situation, habit, scenario, environment that doesn't serve you anymore. And obviously that's kind of scary because we love the routine, we love the safety net of knowing that this is what we're going to talk about, this is the topic, this is what to expect, this is what it's going to be like in these types of conversations. And you know what? It's not that easy. So I think that there's definitely a process that we have to take, and we kind of have to look at this as a journey and not as a destination that we're trying to reach. So one of my coaches explained that there was a great study, and I'm still looking for the study, so don't take my word for it, but I think there's a lot of valid truth in it, just because from my personal experience and seeing the people around me, and so anyways, they've looked at, or I don't know who they are, but there was a study that was done, and the study was, let's look at some of the most successful people in the world. Not successful, but like hundreds of millions of dollars successful. I know that's just one aspect of success, but there's definitely differentiating factors that has them standing out from the crowd. So they wanted to find out what it is that made them so unique and so different. And so part of the research found out that what we would expect. Maybe is it they went to a great school? Did they get an MBA? Did they come from wealth? Did they have luck or have some special talents? It was none of the above. It was two major factors, and the two major factors were self-awareness and authenticity. Self-awareness and authenticity were the two major factors that had them standing out from the crowd. And when I look at this simple fact, this simple truth, I can see why that is. People who stand out from the crowd, people who are tapping into their potential and reaching their greatness, are, in a way, they need to know who they are at the core of their being. They need to know their truth. They need to have a certain level of self-knowledge so that when they exert themselves, when they penetrate this world with their gift, with their story, with their business idea, with their creation, with their contribution, or whatever it is, they need to know that that deep desire is coming from an authentic place, something that they really want, something that for them, as they give it, they are also being filled. Awareness, which leads to obviously authenticity. And sometimes being your authentic self, people aren't going to like you. Just look at Steve Jobs. He was self-aware in what his gifts were, what his talents were, what he wanted to do for the world, and people thought he was a complete asshole. Some people thought he was a complete dictator with the way he ran his business. And yet, his company is still one of the most successful companies in the world. And the list will go on and on. I don't want to bore you with all these different ideas, but awareness before authenticity. I think when we know our past, because our past has helped create our present situation. When we find out our past, when we learn and dig through some of the trauma, some of the heartbreak, some of the pain that has caused who we are to today in the present, we have a little bit more control of the direction of our life, the direction of our future. So that's why, to me, I truly value self-knowledge, and Aristotle says self-knowledge is the beginning of all wisdom, and I think know thyself is definitely the number one commandment, where everything definitely needs to start. So when you have that level of self-awareness, your truth, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What makes me excited? What makes me angry? Kind of understanding this and being aware of it, because you can operate on automatic, on autopilot, like a robot, where if someone says something and you automatically have some sort of reaction or rebuttal or argument, and everything just sparks up and fuels, and you just repeat this pattern, and it happens over and over and over again. I do this myself, but as I create more awareness, I realize that I actually have a choice. So rather than doing these things from an unconscious place, I become conscious of it so that I can change the decision, the choice, the action, the habit, and therefore the result is going to be completely different than it was in the past, instead of repeating the past. So when you have that level of awareness, and I think there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of practices, there's a lot of things that we can do to achieve greater awareness. And again, it's a destination, it's a never-ending journey. When we have that level of awareness, we can tap more into authenticity, becoming more authentic in terms of who we are. So what does authentic mean? So for me, authentic means you are living your truth. We grow up thinking that we want things, thinking that we want to take certain directions in our lives, but essentially it's been influenced, it's been conditioned, it's been ingrained in us from other people. And all of this, all these inner voices are not necessarily what is inside of us. I believe everyone has their own unique gift. I think everyone has a message to share, something that's truly important to them that they want to express and share and touch and move and inspire people with. And I think everybody has a story to tell. Everyone comes from a really unique and dynamic story, and they are definitely the hero of their own story. And by sharing their story, they're able to inspire and move others to potentially do the same, to seek awareness in themselves, to seek ways that they can become more authentic, put the mask down, and to be in more integrity in their life, to put the guard down, to open up their heart, to be vulnerable, to be able to come from a place where they are giving, and they are boundless in their attempts to continue to contribute to this world. And I do think it all starts in the self. I think the external is just a distraction. We think that we can change things by acquiring and adding from the outside, or dealing with things from the outside, from the top down, whatever it is. And that's been done. That's been tried for thousands and thousands of years. What hasn't been necessarily always looked at, or hasn't been valued as much, but has been spoken about by many philosophers and very brilliant people over the years, is increasing consciousness. It's in here. And I believe that's what this conversation, to me, is all about. That's what the integrated self is all about. So if you are interested in coming to one of the meetups, this is what we are going to talk about. Whether it's achieving greater health, greater well-being, knowing ourselves better, developing our skills, growing our business, tuning into a new audience, whatever it is, we're going to have some really cool, amazing conversations. And I really hope that what this conversation turns into is something that can actually impact the world around. Because I do believe in what Gandhi says. He says, be the change you wish to see in the world. And for many years in the past, I tried to change other people. And I realized that this is what I want in other people. I wish people were more powerful in terms of in their lives. And I wish that people were more authentic in their lives. And if that's what I wish on for other people, then I need to demonstrate that and be an example of what it means to truly to come from a place of power in terms of transforming my life, and also to come from a place of authenticity. So to continually shed the layers of masks, of the shield, of whatever it is, of who I am no longer. And if I can do that myself, and continue to do it, because again, it's not a destination, it's a journey, to continue to unleash and continue to move forward in that direction, then perhaps I can inspire others along the way. Robin Sharma, one of the coolest guys in the world, he says, you can preach a better sermon by how you live your life than the things that you say. And that's what this is all about. It's hoping to create an environment where people can start leading from example, doing what they want others to do, rather than looking at the outside, working on the inside, and creating the cause in here so the effect out there comes into alignment, comes into harmony, comes into wholeness with who they are, with the direction that they're taking in their life. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, this is obviously just definitely scratching the surface, and we're going to get into really cool details, and we're going to dig deep, and we're going to ask real questions, and we're going to find out real answers from people that are definitely relatable, and it's just going to be a really fun time. I hope to see you there. For information about our future meetups, definitely look at the link below. Follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, subscribe to the channel, show some love, comment, say what you have to say. I would love to see you there. Would love to support you in your journey. Have a wonderful day. Take care, guys.